Learn to discipline your emotions. Look, as human beings, we're going to experience moments where we don't feel particularly great, or we feel down. That's the nature of life. No one's going to be constantly excited and up, and that's just not the way life is. And that's why I disagree with the whole idea of searching for happiness. Happiness is an emotion that comes and goes. When happiness arrives, enjoy the feeling and be present, and then it will go away. And you may feel down and deflated about something, and that's okay too, by the way. There's nothing wrong with you if you feel down. I speak to a lot of guys on coaching calls, and they almost feel like something's wrong with them. I'm like, no, you're a human being, bro. You're not a fucking robot. Especially when something tragic happens. It's perfectly normal to sit there and, experience those emotions. And I don't want you to neglect those emotions either. I don't want you to brush them under the carpet and pretend like they don't exist. No. When you go through an extremely traumatic experience, man, sometimes you break down completely. You find yourself crying. Now, I don't want you to be in that state constantly, especially, for example, if you break up with a girl. By yourself, you might find yourself sat in your car and your eyes are full of tears, and that's okay, brother. It really is. It doesn't make you no weak beta male, especially if you spent several years with this woman. But I don't want you to remain in that state for 6 months, a year, 2 years, because that's when it becomes unhealthy. When you can't seem to let it go. But in the moment, especially in the first few weeks of a breakup, the first month, it's gonna hurt, man. Right? So it's okay to feel those emotions, fellas. I don't want you to become an emotional guy who breaks down at the smallest things. No. The day-to-day troubles of life shouldn't break you down this way. And if you find yourself crying at the smallest things, then, you need to book a coaching call with me, because it's not particularly healthy. But when you go through serious events in your life, a breakup, I would say, is a serious event. But even more serious is the death of a family member or a friend. Those experiences, really affect you. They really do. And I always tell guys it's perfectly normal to grieve. Grieve the loss of that individual. Don't feel guilty for wanting to cry or... No. You're a human being. Okay? Now, when I talk about disciplining your emotions, I don't want your emotions to destroy your life. Or your lack of emotional control, shall I say, to destroy your life. In trading, we talk about making sure that your trading psychology is on point, because your emotional state of mind has more of an impact on your ability to become a consistently profitable trader than probably anything else. Right? And so I apply that discipline to other areas of my life as well, remaining calm and collected. Not ignoring my feelings, no. But also not allowing my emotions to get the best of me, especially on your no-FAP journey, for example. You're 7 days in and you relapse. And you're like, why the fuck did I do it, man? I'm so annoyed at myself. And then what happens if you're not careful is you allow that event to mess up your entire day, which will then probably mess up the next day after that and the day after that. And before you know it, a chain of events has occurred and you've messed up an entire month because you were so mad at yourself, but you didn't harness that frustration in a healthy way. You just started attacking yourself in a negative way. Why am I like this? I never do anything right. I'm always starting and stopping. And don't go down that spiral, fellas. It will mess you up. It's okay if you relapse, especially if you are beginning no-FAP, having been obsessed with pornography for many years and maybe even masturbating 3, 4, 5 times a day. You're not going to flick a switch, man. I wish you could. And then you no longer engage in that habit. But no, it takes time. Same thing if you're trying to quit smoking or alcohol. Now, thankfully, I've never drank alcohol, first of all, but I've never had a smoking problem. And so I can't really be, I'm not really the best person to speak. I'm not the best person to speak about those addictions. However, I mean, there's some similarities between watching pornography, for example, and smoking and drinking alcohol, because they're all addictions, right? But if you relapse and you end up picking up a cigarette after telling yourself, man, I'm not going to do it again, it's all right, brother. It's all right that you've relapsed. You're a human being. You're going to slip up. Now, what I would say, and this is something I said to a guy on a coaching call the other day, when you slip up, don't slip up for a day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, right? Reduce the time where you're down and deflated. Instead of it being a week or a day, let it be a few hours where it pissed you off a little bit, and then you're back on the journey that you were on. You're back engaging in the good habits. Because what your mind will often do when you slip up and you relapse, it will tell you, oh, today's a shit day anyways. I mean, you relapsed. So just fucking skip the gym, start again next week, and then you would have, let's say today was Thursday, and your mind told you, oh, you relapsed today, just start next week. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Now you wasted 3 fucking days because your mind has convinced you that, well, you might as well write off the rest of the week now. I mean, you relapsed. And that's the danger. Because you waste 3 days there, and then the next time maybe 4 days, and then 5 days. Before you know it, a month, 2 months, and then a year if you're not careful. And so discipline your emotions. Don't let them completely wreck the progress you've made and the progress that you will make going forward. Be careful of what you utter, the words that are coming out of your mouth. If you keep engaging in destructive self-talk, I mean, things will not get better for you. Things will get worse. So when you slip up, yep, it's going to sting a little bit. But don't go on a rampage and start destroying all the progress you've made. Tell yourself, shit, I shouldn't have done that. But you know what? Back on it. We're back on it. Tomorrow, well, today's a new day. I'm not going to do it again. Just don't do it again in the same day. If you slip up in the morning, don't feel like, well, today's a fucking write-off. I might as well. No. Just for the rest of the day, aim to have the most productive day you can. Don't let the mistakes of the past haunt you. Okay? Keep moving. Just keep moving. Tomorrow will be a better day. The day after will be even better. That's it. I'm not haunted by the mistakes I've made in the past. The past is the past. As long as you're striving to stay away from these bad habits and you're striving to engage in good habits, then you're doing great, man. Give yourself a fucking pat on the back, mate. As long as you're trying. That's all that matters. Now, if you're not trying, well, then there's something wrong. Then we need to at least make the first step, or at least make the intention. Because a lot of guys never make the intention to improve. They want to, but they never make a firm decision that, you know what, I'm going to stop doing this bullshit. Now, making that decision doesn't mean that you'll never relapse or you'll never slip up. You will. But at least you've made that clear intention and you've made that decision. All right? So learn to discipline your emotions. Deep breath, fellas. You make a mistake. Deep breath. It's okay. You're a human being. Don't engage in that destructive thought process and start destroying your progress around. No. Tomorrow's a new day. Things will be better. All right. Thanks for watching this video, fellas. If you enjoyed it, make sure you give it a like, comment down below. Let me know what you think. And if you're new here, consider subscribing. See you in the next one.